we were talking earlier about like the pressure the graduates face when they're having to leave and get the job, and I did feel that pressure. So when I left Intel after a year, we went off and we travelled, did some travelling. But off travelling, I had forgot that I had applied for this job back at home. Got this phone call. They were trying to phone me. Eventually found a phone in Asia to ring them, see what it was about. And long story short, the only time they could interview me was hours after I had landed back in Dublin. So I thought, I'll take it. So found the only Tesco's I could find in Thailand somewhere, got a pen and a notepad, screenshotted like interview questions about the company, because we were sitting on an overnight train with no internet for the next day or night, and just prepped the whole way home. Got back into Dublin that night and turned pretty much a few hours later to go back to Dublin for the interview. I was that jet lagged or tired or whatever it may be that I wrote stuff on the back of my hand to remind myself in case I forgot when I went into the interview. Anybody listening to go into an interview, do not write anything on the back of your hand, because you're not going to see it. You don't have time to read it, and you sweat that much, you're not going to see it anyway, but the interview seeing it. So that was fine. Went through the interview. They were very impressed again with the course, with my experience so far. And again, at the end of the interview, they just looked at me and went, "Where were you yesterday?" And I was like, "Asia." Mm-hmm. And they went, "Okay, that's all right." And they'd already asked the relocation question, and I had let them know that I was fine with relocating too. And that was all fine, got the job. And again, I would recommend ask why you got the job to see what your strength is. And I asked why did I got the job in a very casual setting one day at work, and he went, "Well, if anybody that I interview, which I've interviewed a lot of people and they have never done this, write stuff on their back of their hand, and then at the end of the interview tells me they're in Asia yesterday, I can't not give them the job." So, and then obviously I explained to him in more depth what had really went on for me to get to be sitting in front of him that day, and he looked at me and went, "Good job, I give you the job then." I went, "Yeah, there was a lot of work that went into it." So again, that interview would have just been a normal interview if they hadn't have known where I was 12 hours before the interview, and communicating that across the table to them. And even if you think this is going to go really right, or that's me out of here, you do need to communicate that. And it is just that one thing that makes you stand out from the rest, because they say when I left the interview room, they just went, "What did she say?" Because nobody else was saying they're in Asia the day before their interview.